Coach. How did that go for you? Obviously, we saw the score, and it seemed like it went very well. But besides that, how did things go?
Well, it went well. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of areas that we got to get better at. But to go into a place like that without Noah, I thought it was really, really positive. Even a couple games last year when Noah got in foul trouble, you know, sometimes we played good, sometimes we didn't, and it was just great for our philosophy. Next guy up, next guy be prepared to go out there and play. And we passed the ball, we rebounded the ball. Our defense was more advanced than it was last year at this time, so it was a great experience for us.
And it seemed like you got some guys some playing time as well, at least two of the young guys, right?
Yeah, I think the combinations of the two, and it was, you know, it was a high-level game in terms of the talent, and so it was great for us to see what a top team looks like, feels like, and plays like. And for the young guys, I was only able to get a couple of them in, but it was a great experience for them to see it and see what the level that they have to be able to go in and help us.
In the second half of that game, for that scrimmage, what clicked for you guys? Obviously, you were behind it at halftime, and then it just seemed like you ran away from him at that point.
You know what? It was a closer game than you know. At the end, they tried to press us a little bit, and we showed a lot of poise and made some shots. That always helps. But they showed a lot of poise. Whatever they kind of threw at us, we were, you know, prepared and poised, made the play. We didn't turn it over, and we were able to capitalize that on make shots. And that's when, at the end, when we started to just have some separation. But for the most part, I was just really impressed because they were really aggressive defensively, tried to get up in you, try to pressure you, try to force you into some plays, and our guys made the plays, and it was very enlightening.
So the whole thing was really worthwhile for you.
Well, you know, going into the game, what we wanted to play was a high-level team early, just to see where we're at. I mean, that's what you try to do. You try to gauge it. I like going on the road. You also, with the young guys, learn how you operate, how you do things, and you know, I always looked at it like the 1980 Olympic team, like go out and play the Russians at Madison Square Garden 2 weeks before. I mean, you might as well, right? Win, lose, you learn either way. You get a chance to play against the best and see where you're at. And so it was a great experience for us.
That tells you that you're at where then? Are you like the top 5 program then, or a top 7 program?
No, I think it's more so. You know, they played some guys. You know, they have a new team. They have the guys. I think it was more. That if we execute our game plan, we can beat anybody. I think what you really realize in college basketball, we realized last year is, you know, you got to respect everybody. I mean, last year in our first exhibition game, which we know we almost lost. We were down 17. Anybody can beat you on any given night. You've got to respect everybody. You got to come out and you got to execute the game plan, and you got to do it together. If we do that, we prove it. We beat Kansas last year. But we also proved that if you don't, you can lose to anybody. And so I think for us it was more so gauging right away where we're at. It's still early. The unfortunate thing, you had 2 other weeks waiting for your first exhibition game, and then this thing's going to, you know, come out on fire. So, but I'm happy where we're at.
As far as
from the game, both. I'm sorry.
As far as seeing where you're at, were there things that stood out to you as far as these are things you want to work on as you get ready for the start of the season?
Yeah, we talked about rebounding. That was a big part of what we wanted to really focus on, and they still had a lot of offensive rebounds, but we battled. We had a small lineup in. We got a couple guys got in foul trouble. Sammy Timmons got in foul trouble in the game, and we had to go smaller. And Amir Wright, you know, we battled. So the things that we've been working on, we didn't do great, but we did better. We had 19 assists. I thought that was important. We talked about the one more. That's the 2 areas where defensive rebounding and then making the extra pass. And it wasn't great, but it was a lot better than it had been. So we were happy about that.
What's the difference for you this year, walking in year 2 now, as opposed to year 1, and knowing these guys and having those games under your belt?
Well, I think it's still 34 games under the belt of these guys. But the one thing that was a lot of fun was when they were playing, before you'd have to make adjustments in timeouts. Timeout, okay. Now listen, they were doing this against the zone. This is what we're doing. This is how we have. They're starting to communicate on the floor. And you see like Matisse and David's relationship, and this is what they're doing, and that's when it becomes really good. And the fun thing is going to be, 4 years from now, when people have been in it for 3 and 4 years, and they really understand it in the different attacks. That was the fun thing, and because when your players become the coaches and the leaders and hold everybody accountable, now your culture is strong, and just to see a little bit of that was really cool for us.
Some of those players have said some of the new players now
Yeah.
about the Coach Hop experience.
Yeah.
Well, how
They're
would you-
afraid.
I was
No,
gonna say,
they're like,
how
oh
would
my
you-
gosh.
How would you describe the Coach Hop experience?
No.
What is it?
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, I have, I've surrounded myself with a great staff that we want to win, but we're also want to teach them what it takes to be professional in life, and so that's the fun thing about it. And so everything that we do on the basketball court, just about that, like they'll talk about, oh, we're going into a meeting. It's like, hey, watch out. Let's see what Coach Hoff's going to be like that. And I've thrown them a couple curveballs this year where I go in and they think it's going to go off, and I change it up a little bit, be a little bit unpredictable. But hopefully they said it's a great experience and it just wants to win. And it might be wait your turn. It might be ready. It might be all these different things. But when your seniors become your leaders, which they have been, and they start to trickle down the culture to the younger guys, that's when you've got something. But we're fighting for it every day.
Overall health, pretty good so far.
Noah was practicing 2 days before that and could have played. We just decided to, not rush it. We still had time, and so getting him back into what we're doing has been a big part of it. But everybody else is healthy.
On Noah, he didn't play. And then yesterday he made some stuff on social media that raised some eyebrows.
Yeah.
We expect to see him on Thursday?
Yes. We're all in relationships. He might have missed a birthday or something. Wink, wink. I think you'll see something. Yeah, I don't know. Missed a birthday, mom, girlfriend, something. Could be something like that. But I'm sure you'll read something later. I heard about the same thing just a couple minutes ago, to be honest with you. So.
Going back to the Hopkins experience, is there something about enjoying the moment and cherishing that in terms of on the court and off the court?
I like to have fun. I'm 49 and I feel like I'm going on 18. So I like to have fun. I think part of this is to experience and have fun, but also teach them how to win. And you can do both. And I think the biggest thing for young guys that we're going to go through what we went through last year is just, don't focus in on the minutes, focus in on the process. Focus on being and playing for something greater than yourself. Now you have a new group of guys. And so I think the trust that's been built with the older group has been able to trickle down now to the younger guys. And last year, if you remember, and it goes back to now minutes have been dispersed, so the message becomes a little bit different. So it's some of the time it's been the first time some of these kids have never gotten into a game. Now that's a hard thing, but also you have to look at the big picture, see where you can, help this team win, and know that it's, going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. You're going to improve. You're going to get better, and hopefully we're going to be playing for championships. That's what we try to preach every day.
The other word I would
Getting back to
add to
Noah.
that, the other word I would add, so I follow up to that, not just enjoy, but seize the moment. In terms of enjoy, but also seize the moment.
I
when you
think
do
so.
the
I think, like sports at the end of the day is all about moments, right? I mean, you get an opportunity to, you'll always remember the Arizona game. It's like, that moment. That's the great thing about being a fan. That's, playing in a big game. It's those moments. And so what we try to focus on is not only those opportunities, but every game that we have is an opportunity. And it goes back to what is your legacy going to be, especially for the guys that this is their last year. And the biggest thing that we just keep preaching is, you have an opportunity to boost Washington basketball back up on a national stage, a local stage, and you've earned that. You deserve that, and it's our job to give you the plan to be able to execute that. But you can't do it unless you're not all together, and that's where you see him getting better.
Getting back to Noah, he said that last year.
I don't even know.
No, last year he said that he took
Yeah.
over to Heart Attack Hill,
Yeah.
and it took him 55 minutes.
Yeah.
This year he did it in 18.
He did. It was unbelievable.
And then, he was talking about transferring, came back. But he seems like a different guy when he came back. Is there something that you noticed that maybe clicked with him to change him? Because
I think our staff is great, and those guys motivate them every day, inspire them, and kids want to be better. And has not only dreams of playing professional after, but wants to have a great season and knows how much we, rely on him. I mean, he's a heck of a player. He was all Pac-12. He was National Player of the Week for 1 week. He wants to have a great year. And so he's worked really, really hard. I think when he went down for a little bit, it kind of scared him a little bit. But he's motivated.
Did you run the hill?
This year I walked the hill slow. I've become a walker. I think I'm getting soft, but walking is really, really good. It's not, and I'm going to tell you one thing about walking. Walking, when you get done, you're okay. Like my ankles don't hurt, my knees don't hurt. I go on an elevation and I get my heart rate. I got my thing going, my Mickey Mouse, but I got it, and I sweat and it's good, and it's, anyway. Walking.
You talk about rebounding, and that's always a challenge, I'll say, if not an issue with this kind of defense. What is it you work on? Because that's a challenge as a team you're looking at every week. What is it you do with the kids and your staff every week to keep hitting that and working at? Because at times it looks a little frustrating out there.
Yeah, no. For you?
No, I'm not out there.
Well, me, my stomach is rumbling. The thought of it. Thank you for that stress. You know what? It's one of those things where it's for in a zone defense, it's more positional than it is going and boxing out, because there's holes, and so you've got to make sure you got to create a triangle in the paint, and we work on our guards getting back, and so sometimes when it gets extended, you got to train them to when it's getting extended and the shot's going up to get back in the paint, 5 guys. And so there's obviously certain areas that we talk about weak side rebounding. The guards have to come over. That's what the one thing in the scrimmage that we did a better job at. Matisse, I think, had 6 rebounds. David had 5, so there was rebounding from those positions, which was a great thing. But it's one of the weaknesses. But I go back to, statistically for us, it's a mindset. It's what you practice and what you focus on. But it's one of those things where last year we were 12th in the league in that statistic in our league. But if we can get to 6th, I don't think we're going to go from 12th to 1st. But if we can get to 8 to 6, that's now really boosted what we've been doing. And we've been running better. So if we can defense or rebound, we can put other teams, keeps them off the glass. If you can run on them, it forces them to think, like, should we go to the offensive glass? And so there's also a trick to that. So we've been working on really getting out and transition more and taking advantage of when we do defensive rebound so we can score easily on the other end.
With so many three-point shots going up.
Sure.
Some games it looks like lots of long rebounds,
yeah.
and that makes the challenge even more challenging.
Yeah, and that goes back to the same thing teaching the guards. You don't go all the way back. You go back in for that long area. So there's areas. 75% of all missed shots go opposite to the other side, all these different stats. But again, it's a mindset. It's what, where focus goes, energy grows. You're hitting that. And so there's all these things that you can focus on. But the rebounding has been a major focus for us. I don't know if we're going to be great at it, but we'll be better.
You mentioned Sam got in foul trouble.
Yep.
And looking down the bench this year, you can go to Brian. How did he respond to that?
Those guys, I thought they all came in and they helped us. They helped us win. BPJ came in and he was just got an early dunk early. Really clogs up the paint really well, and that was really exciting. And the second time he came in, he was, a freshman, it's hard, I mean, if you remember, Hamir Wright last year really didn't help us until later, right? I mean, he played against Kennesaw State, but I think you're going to see these guys in spots that can really help us. But it's a different game. It's not, we're not in, what does it say? We're not in Kansas anymore, like we're, it's a different level, but the kids have had great attitudes. They've gotten better. And to see them start to progressing, and not only where they might not be able to help us as much now, but come January when they really get it, that's when minutes become, guys can less minutes, guys can go out there and impact the game just like the starters.
Kim,
Couple more guys.
Coach, how much does that extra pass, you see the evolution of the extra pass go from, from year 1 to year 2 in terms of going from something that, is you have to think about to something that's just instinctual?
I think it's one of those things, another thing that we practice every day. We do an actual drill. There's always somebody open. So with space, like you have to make the extra pass or you're not thinking about it. And It's one of those things, I think, as the team gets closer and tighter and there's more trust built. You know, I think sometimes guys that can really score, they think, well, I'm going to go make the basket because I don't know if he can make it, and I'm going to go win. And when you start to do that, sometimes that becomes the mindset. So now I've got to be able to trust everybody around me and know that if I'm here and I got two, that guy, he's going to, you know, Dom Green is going to blow out the game, because he was the reason in that Nevada game where all of a sudden he had 1 3, and next thing you know, he hits 4 in a row, and the game is what? He's got separation skills. You know what I mean? And so, you know, it's just, it's a mindset, and one more means extra pass, extra rep, one more, you know, it gives us, you know, the extra advantage that we're trying to get as a team. But it's a lot better than it was last year.
And I don't know if someone asked you this earlier, sorry, but Chris Peterson hates rankings. He hates talking about them.
Yeah.
You guys are in the top 25, and I think people are really excited about it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
You know, I had said it the first day, it's really, you know, I mean, I'm happy for the guys, but I also let the guys know that it means nothing. You know, there's only one truth, and that's what happens inside the lines. And, you know, now you have a target on your back. Now it's a lot different. But if we can focus on the things that we focus on and stay away from all the publicity and the hype, you know, I think it's great for the fans. I think it's great for alumni. It's great for people thinking that, geez, this thing's moving forward. Great. But with our schedule, with our league, I mean, you've got to go out and prove it, bottom line.
Different objectives for Thursday, rotation, playing time. I know you wanted to go into Nevada, and you know, with a specific objective. Does it change?
Objective has always been to win and to play well, get guys opportunities, try different lineups. You know, Coach Leap's done a great job with their program. Husky alum, team captain, get him, you know, his team's very disciplined, well coached. They return 7 of their top 8 players. Be a great test for us. And as we know with St. Martin's last year, I mean, you got to come out and perform and play. And that's, as a coach, that's what you're trying to do. Regardless if you win by 2 or you win by whatever it is, you want to be able to execute and play well. It doesn't, playing well, focusing on playing well rather than the score is how we're going to get better every game.
One more, guys.
Do you plan to have, for Thursday, do you plan to have Noah then? Will, like, he
Oh, yeah, he'll be playing.
And like, everyone else, is everyone else good, or?
Yeah, everybody else is great, and just excited, guys. I can't believe it's here. It's like, it's been like a whirlwind, man, fast. But we'll see y'all tomorrow. We got any more?
Pretty good.